Yeah. Just got a commercial break and then we're back. I will see those comments over there. So that means everyone's got to stand. Already? Welcome. This is a great occasion for me to be here, Kāwhia. And thank you very much for your warm words. You know, I'm still a few more lessons of better. But I did understand some of it. And together, I think that's Jackson. We're all together and we're a lot stronger. So I won't hold the proceedings up. I'd like to call Jeff Production. It's an alphabetical order, and it's not listening to treatment.
I do good declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of Kāwhia and communities, the powers, authorities, and duties vested and imposed upon me as a member of the Kāwhia Community Board by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002 and the Local Government Official Information and Meeting Act 1987, or any other act.
I'm sorry, I was on that.
Vote is for Richard.
I feel that I faithfully and impartially, according to the best of my skill, judgment, and perform in the best of Kāwhia communities. Powers, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Kāwhia community, or by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, Government Official Meetings Act 1987, and Act.
Congratulations. Achievements. A couple of words just to vote for us. No pressure.
I think Jeffrey declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform the best interests of the Kāwhia and Ātea community, power, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as member of the Kāwhia Community Board by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information Meetings Act 1987, and any other act.
Congratulations. Any?
Here. Yeah. Sorry, excuse me.
I gave my husband the way that I was faithfully and impartially, according to the best of my skill and judgment, even perform the best interests of Kāwhia and Kāwhia community, Those encouraging continued business and employment. They knew that the Catholic community here, by reaching the local government act 2002, the local government official information in the meetings act 1987, the Wind Act.
License.
Ko hau, ko hina ki. I wāti ana a whai ahau i te tono me te tō keke i runga kopi i te mitinga ke whai nei o āku kuku. O āku whakatauraki kia whakaturi. Te mahi anō i te mana whakahau. Te mana whakatau me ngā momo mahi o utia i runga ia hau kia whiti waina o te takiwa o Kāwhia me Aotea. Hei mena o te koari hapori o Kāwhia. E ai oki i te ture kaumatanga a Taiao, ua mano ua i te ture kaumatanga a Taiao, whakapai me te hui o tahi mano iwarau wari te kauna pitu, me eti i ture anō rānei.
Thank you. Better do the song now.
Ki te pono koutou, ki te matua, e whai noi o koe. He hori hori no te mamai o te tina mai. Nini kia mai, mai ana kia mai, e te iwi e. Kei te tanu ko te tari o te mai. Kia ora.
Kia ora mo tira.
If it's not the start, you're talking. Next class, when Koro Watua was on the man, I was in the class, I never called the man. Was that as it is me. So, Koro Watua, the some people say that from it's going to be work for me.
The meeting is open. You just said, would you like to call it open too? Would you like to open to the meeting?
O tēnei wā, ka whaki te wā kia titi o nā tāne ka tiwhira te tata huni te karakia, mana tira. Kia wai. Aia. O tēnā tātou, a kia imu. Tāne matua, tāne nui rangi, tāne whakapiripiri, whakarongo mai. Nau iwi o mātua, nau ko te rā, nau ko te pō. Nau i whakairi te whānau, marama, nau ko te aotea. Nau ahau, ti hei, mauri ora. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
We have no apologies. We'd like to remove no apologies or just tomorrow. So the first matter on the agenda is we have to work out a voting system. Just giving my notes. Yeah, so item one, we've got to decide, because we've got to elect the chairperson of this meeting. So we have to decide on how we vote, and if we need to vote. So it's, who speaks to that? We can Tanya and Winter will speak to the different options for voting.
Oh, kia ora koutou, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. The first item on the agenda is, as Nidau has said, is the process for electing a chairperson. There are two options, System A or System B. Staff are recommending System B is the method for electing the chairperson. It's for a small board. It's more appropriate, more simple, etc. But ultimately, it's up to you as a board as to which voting system you choose. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on voting system? Can I have a move then? Yep. Jeff was to move. I'll second that. And Jeff would to second it. All those in favour? You can see I'm new at this time. No, motion passed. The next we have to do, item two, is we've got to appoint a chairperson. We'll speak to that, please.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Dow. So this is using the process that you've adopted in the previous report. We will, the mayor will call for nominations for the position of chairperson for the 2025-28 training.
A call for nominations.
I'll nominate Jeff.
We have a seconder. Seconder, you got it right? Would you accept the nomination? So Jeff said, have we got any more nominations?
No, we could.
Appointed.
Thank you.
My task is finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, right. Congratulations, yes.
Moving on to, thank you, board members, for your confidence in me. Okay, it was a pleasure last 3 years. Nice, pleasurable experience. Yeah, we've got a good team, Kāwhia, with our district councillors, 2 district councillors, Joe, and our 2 Māori ward members, Tina and Jamie. It's a pretty powerful team for Kāwhia. So thank you. Moving on to item 3, which is the appointment of our deputy chairperson. Do I have a mover for deputy chair? Board member Harper. Do I have a seconder? I'm calling for nominations. Yeah. You'll nominate. We have a seconder?
Yes.
Seconded by. Are there any other nominations? Or do you accept it?
Yes.
Good, like.
Are there any other nominations? No. Welcome to. Thank you, Lloyd, for lending us. Right, moving on to item 4, which is page 16 in your agenda. And it is the fixing of a date and time for the first ordinary meeting of the Kāwhia Community Board. And so reporting to this will be Tanya Winters, our Chief Executive.
Through you, Chair, and congratulations to both of you, Chair and Deputy. So this is required by law to fix the date and time of the first of your ordinary meetings for the Triennium. At that first meeting, we will bring to you the dates for the rest of the Triennium, but this is just so that we can notify the public. What we're recommending is that we stick with the same pattern that you have had in the previous Triennium, and that is for the first meeting to be held on Thursday, the 4th of December, commencing at 4 p.m.
I'll move that. Moved, Councillor Jeffries, with a seconder.
Yep.
Seconded, board member. Mahara. All those in favour? Aye. Against, carried. Two. Thank you. Moving on to information only report, which is item 5, general explanation of laws affecting elected members, and that is on page 20. Entered by Tanya.
Okay, through you, Chair. So if you look at the screen over there, sorry, public, you can't see it. Oh, can you see it? Oh, on the little screen. I've got a short presentation, and when I say short, it's 8 slides, just so that I can take you through the legislation that we need you to know to keep you out of trouble. So we have got over 135 pieces of legislation that council administers. So a significant amount, and over the course of your term, we will be introducing pieces of legislation to you as the situation arises. And it's far more relevant when we're actually talking about those pieces of legislation in the context that they sit. But there are a couple, and you've got them in your report, there are a couple that we actually need you to be aware of. So what we'll cover today are 5 pieces of legislation. When you signed your declarations, the first 2 were outlined in those, and they are the Local Government Act and the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act, which we fondly call LGOIMA. We also have the Local Authorities Members' Interest Act, the Crimes Act, and the Secret Commissions Act. So I'll take you through those. So the Local Government Act is our main piece of legislation, and it covers the purpose of local government. It tells us that we are responsible for promoting the well-being of our communities in the areas of social, economic, environmental, and cultural. More about that later, because we do have a government with a different view about whether our role should involve those well-beings, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It talks about the governing role of councils, and while much of that is centred on the council laws and mayor, community boards do have input into the direction setting, the policy, and the performance of council. So your role is set out in that piece of legislation as well, and we make sure we include that in your terms of reference at the start of the agendas, to remind you what your role is, community boards. So the next part is around engaging the community, and we see community boards as vital, eyes and ears, feet on the ground, able to give us heads up on things that are more local than maybe we as staff or the councillors, based in different parts of the district, are able to keep our eye on. We've all got financial responsibility. We are stewards of public money, and we take that role really seriously. So transparency, accountability, and openness are cornerstones of this piece of legislation. We're also accountable back to the community through our long-term plan and our annual plans, and we consult and we engage and we report back on those key planning documents. So the Systems Improvement Bill is a bill that has been put forth by our current government. It refocuses councils on what this government called core services. It strips the wellbeings out of the Local Government Act and shifts our purpose. It puts tighter financial discipline on councils, and you might have heard of the term rates capping. That is one of the parts of this piece of legislation, and you'll hear more about that when we run through induction programs probably early next year. It has new reporting and requirements for councils, and it also standardises some governance standards around codes of conduct and standing orders, which we will bring to you at some later meetings. LGOIMA, the Local Government Official Informations and Meetings Act, that is the one that governs our meetings, and it also is the, I guess, has its main principle openness and transparency in the provision of information to our community. So essentially, we say that everything is available to the members of our community should they want it, unless there is good reason to withhold that information. And so what would an example of good reason to withhold be? Well, it might be to protect the privacy of an individual. So the example I've given in the last 2 meetings has been around my performance review, for example. So quite private to me, it's an agreement between me and the council. I perhaps wouldn't want that out in the public arena. Another reason to withhold might be that we're engaging in some commercial negotiations, and we don't want to breach, the kind of our position or the position of the other agency through those commercial negotiations. Now, many of our decisions and work that we do in the confidential space the decisions can actually be released at some time. And so we try and apply those principles of openness and transparency, even to things that might have been withheld from the public while we were making the decision. This one is an interesting one, and it's really interesting because you're all here because you live and love your community. You're probably involved in sports clubs, marae, community organisations. This particular piece of legislation looks at how those roles that you have in the community could perhaps put you in a conflict situation if a decision comes up that you need to make that involves that particular organisation. So, it might be that you are the president of a club in Kāwhia and they apply for a grant through the community board. And so maybe I should stand aside while this decision's being made. All right. So pecuniary interest means that you stand to gain financially. Non-pecuniary means that you don't. Those ones are a little more tricky to navigate. But the key messages in here are declare your conflicts early, and if in doubt, speak to me. We're getting a bit more serious now. This is the Crimes Act. Okay, so basically the next 2 pieces of legislation that I talk about deal with wrongdoing and integrity, but they cover different types of behaviour and apply in different contexts. So the Crimes Act really focuses on corruption or bribery role. So the Act's quite broad and it has serious consequences if breached. The legislation has specific provisions relating to crimes involving public officials. And many of you know I've been involved in a situation, actually committed fraud. He was convicted, went through the High Court trial, and the Crimes Act was the piece of legislation that the Serious Fraud Office used to prosecute. A rather nasty end of the Crimes Act, and it ain't much fun. So we want to keep you out of a situation, and it might sound I'm using an extreme example, but even accepting a gift from a company that might be in a tender process that we're running at the moment could put you in a position where your integrity might be questioned. So if someone gives you tickets to go to the rugby and it's in your position on the community board, please tell us, and then we can help you make a decision about that. Okay, we're on the home straight. The Secret Commissions Act, just quickly, similar to the Crimes Act, but it focuses more on the contracting and procurement area, and mainly in the private sector. It can be used to prosecute in a public role, but it's mainly used in the private sector, but still applies to us. So, Tātai. Any questions? Any clarification needed? We're going to go through the Members' Interest Act a bit more in one of our workshops, aren't we, later on as part of the induction program. But that was just a once over lightly so that you all know the pieces of legislation that are important.
Yeah, we made the point on Tuesday, didn't we, that if you're not sure about anything, don't take a chance on it. Talk to Tanya.
Ask. Yeah, definitely. So that's it. Thank you.
Staff recommendation that the Kāwhia Community Board receives a report titled General Explanation of Laws Affecting Elected Members by Tanya Winter, Chief Executive. Do you have a mover for that? Second? Yeah. All those in favour? All right, carry. Thank you for that, Tanya. Now, moving on to public excluded. There's no public excluded, you can all stay here. And there's no board reports because we want to get stuck at 4.